What's up, guys? Svetlana here from Bulgaria, and I am doing the math on how much it would cost me to actually shoot a mockumentary about horror stuff. And we begin here at Sofia. This is where I live. We take our first train. Yes, because trains are cheaper than buses. To Plovdiv, where we are gonna talk about metaphysical capturings of vampires. You see, vampires used to be ghosts. Literally, they started off as ghosts. And we here in Bulgaria, we had guys who actually captured vampires in jars with blood. You can capture a vampire in a jar. Next time you watch Carmilla, just saying vampire in a jar, Carmilla in a jar. I'm just saying. And by the way, we are kind of a bit, some of us are kind of a bit pissed at Romania here because Dracula stole all our vampire cred. We used to have a bunch of vampire cred. We have right now 1400 caves. We have the most caves in all of Europe. See this river here? This river is there is a river in Dracula, and that's all we have now. We have one little river that was in the most famous vampire book ever, and that just we gotta we I as a Bulgarian feel like it's my duty to get back all of our vampire cred. Okay, we pass through a town called Rose and move on up to Bucharest. Why Bucharest? Because it's a major city and it's cheaper to pass through major cities than it is to design your path through point to point. You see, your these search algorithms don't always find the most perfect path. They just find inefficient, cost-efficient path. When I went through Plovdiv, it got 40 bucks cheaper to get to Dracula's castle. And here it is, Bran Castle, the famous Dracula castle that does not exist in the books. This is not it. I'm sorry, but the castle in which Dracula actually resided in that book, no gothic shit. Sorry. It was not. None of Dracula's castles were gothic. In fact, Dracula himself wasn't Dracula. There's like a bajillion Vlads in Wallachian history. There there isn't even proof that Dracula was patterned after Vlad the Impaler. That's Fanon. That came after the thing, after the book came out. There is not one shred of proof. And I know about the things in with the doctor. No, you do not. There's gonna be a lot of people fighting me on this. There's no proof. There is no proof. It's a hotly debated issue among fans of vampires everywhere. There is no proof. her here. No proof whatsoever. Let's see, we passed through Budapest. Why do we pass through Budapest? Because I felt like it. And what do we have here? Sarvar. Why did we go here? I don't remember. Oh, yes, wait, I do. Yes, I do. This is the abode of a certain countess who allegedly bathed in the blood of young maidens. She allegedly killed 140 young maidens, and it was a quick trial, and not one of those bodies has been found ever, which is kind of impossible once you realize that it's the 21st century and at least some of those handmaidens would have been related to royalty. And once you figure out that the castle that Countess Elizabeth Tyrrell resided in happened to be a place where highly educated people hung around, and she owned a bunch of stuff, and those rumors about her were basically just resurrected after years after her husband died, and she was kind of a feminist icon before she died, and tons of tons of tons of things that I'm gonna mention in the mockumentary. I promise. If I get the budget to do this mockumentary, we make our route through Vienna, and we're gonna waste a hell of a lot of money buying a sandwich. It's the sad joke that there's like a handful of Scandinavian countries in the world that have sandwiches that costs as much as a stay in a hotel. Sad fact. Sad fact. We cannot enjoy Vienna. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, yeah. And now there's a place called Liechtenstein. If anyone has, if you've ever heard of Liechtenstein, you know why I'm excited about this. If you haven't, let me enlighten you. You see, Liechtenstein is the tiniest country in all of Europe. Recognized, just Basques, whatever. There is a story where 40 soldiers went to Liechtenstein, and came back. Went out from Liechtenstein, went to Italy, and came back with 41 people. They 40 small troop of 40 soldiers went to Italy, and they came back with a friend because they made a friend in Rome. This is the. I mean, how can you not make a joke about a place called Liechtenstein? No offense to people inside it, but it's just a fun name. It's a fun little name with fun stories. It's Liechtenstein. And what do we have here? Sion. So this is actually the region in Switzerland that pertains to it's called Valais. basically, if you take the significance of Count Dracula, the popularity of Salem, and the credit, the street cred of anything that's historical, and apply it to witches and werewolves, this is the place. This is the mecca. This is the unrecognized. This place just has not been covered enough. Falaise, Switzerland. You see, if you look at any economic whatever chart of Europe, late 1400s, you see massive economic growth. You see a steady development curve, whatever. Basically, this is where all the witch trials start from. This is the place that inspired the witch trials, the Middle Ages, all those witch trials, this place. And I would hyposit, this is a hypothesis, this is not a theory, whatever. This is a hypothesis. A hypothesis is not a theory is not a hypothesis. I would hyposit that Valais, Switzerland directly affected all that stuff by being on the opposite end of the Alps, just a little bit away from Genoa, where a certain historical figure called Pope Innocent the Fourth. This is the fourth one. This is Pope Innocent the Fourth. Grew up here. Pope Innocent the Fourth basically gave the go-ahead to all of witch trial history. He grew up here. Look at this. Here, and if you look at this from a Google Earth perspective, this entire region, this is the Alps. This is the coldest part of Europe. Here. He would have absolutely heard about these witch trials growing up. And in fact, there might be a link to Paris. Exactly about a year after the Valais witch trials ended, mysteriously in Paris, there was a release of 40 werewolves. I mean, there was an infiltration of 40 wolves. 40 wolves, 1450. This is an actual thing that happened. Right after the official ending of the Valais witch trials, 40 werewolves just poured into the streets of Paris. This is 1450 exactly. 1449, witch trials stopped, and then later, because of Pope Innocent, everything would happen. The unfortunate people burned. And here's the thing: all those witch trials, they weren't just pagans. In fact, pagans weren't the major. They weren't the major targets. Pagans, yes, pagans were pagans, but really, it's more about in a Catholic village, Protestant witches, and a Protestant village, Catholic witches. That's the sad truth about what happened during the Pope Fourth period. One side attacked the other side attacked the other. That is a sad truth. It's not a fun truth. It's it's very unfortunate. But sorry if you've experienced any religious violence, but this is werewolf history. I mean, werewolves, of all the things, werewolves. 40 werewolves. 40 wolves. This is this is incredible stuff here. Wolves, 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 wolves. Actually, this one's actually a bit too expensive, so I'm probably not gonna do that. I mean, I've already got too many famous cities, and I would much rather go to Rome and talk about all of the vampire origin story stuff that has to do with Rome. I would do more werewolf stuff, but unfortunately, I don't live in the UK, and it would cost a bit too much to go to the UK to make this documentary for another time. But if you are in the UK, I just have to say, foray, not ferry, foray. The amount of history about fer- ferries, about cunning folk in the UK, it's just incredible. I just, but it has been done to death. I'm sorry, but it has been done to death. And while I would like to do a more werewolf-centric movie someday, I simply don't have the budget to go all the way out to the UK and then to Hollywood and then around. This is what I'm focused on right now. But guys, believe me, there's a lot of awesome stuff about werewolves out there. You just have to look. In fact, I have an app on my phone where I can find free audiobooks. Go find that app and type in werewolf. Werewolf 5 Pieces, very nice book, public domain. I promise it's it's at least it will be an experience. If you're not into that, just it's a collection of 5 short stories. It's a very, very, very fun thing to have. It's a very interesting thing to have. Totally recommended if you're a fan of anything supernatural. Werewolf 5 Pieces, you can get it as a free audiobook. I just have to say, awesome. So, the trip all in all costs between 336 and 657 bucks, which is more like a grand in my money because Obama brought up the US dollar. And I know, I know, I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. The amount of U.S. politics, whatever. But we are talking mythology here, and we are talking about a great circle around. And my final stop is back in Sofia, Bulgaria, and the total is $787, which is probably gonna be plus minus 120 to 400, depending on the delays or emergencies, plus several days in various different hotels and permissions, and how many people are we gonna bring along. So it could cost a couple of grand, but I am going to start Kickstarter eventually, and to build up to that Kickstarter, I am going to make at least 1,000 videos about mythological stuff, about supernatural stuff, about folklore, about pop culture stuff. I have an entire mind map of 100 plus links about Santa Claus. I will do Santa Claus. I will do Dracula. I will do a ton of stuff. I swear something's gonna be interesting, and the popularity from that is gonna build up to me finding the budget to make this mockumentary about supernatural things. Stay interested. Peace. I'm out.